Hi, my name is Jennifer Cooper, and welcome back to JKC Mobile Notaries YouTube channel. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series where I've been interviewing some of our heavy hitters in our notary industry, because today, seriously, I have one of the most amazing leaders in our industry, so much so that we have a special name for her. I'm excited about this interview. I hope that you'll find it helpful. She is the go-to for new notaries and notaries that want to expand their business offerings and really get into specialty notary work. This is the woman you need to listen to. So if you're ready, I'm so ready. But before that, please hit the like, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss any of the content I bring, which is going to include these amazing speakers, notary business, notary functions, women entrepreneurship, and so much more. So if you don't want to miss it, join our community. I would love to have you. That being said, I'm really ready for you to meet her. So let's go. Hi, everybody. It is Jen with JKC Mobile Notary, and welcome to today's YouTube video. Today, I'm so excited because for our Notary Heavy Hitter series, I have the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I don't know if she likes that title. That's what we call her. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, boy, do I have a treat for you. So today's interview is with my friend and mentor and one of the most influential leaders in our industry, Laura Biewer. Hi, Laura.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm going to tell people a little bit about you, if you don't mind. Laura's a notary and loan signing agent based in Modesto, California. She's also the founder and instructor for Coach Me Laura, her notary course platform. We'll talk more about that in the interview. Laura is also the founder of the Notary Symposium, an annual conference for notaries. She is a co-host on the popular and long-running Tuesday Notary Titans Zoom call. Laura is also a co-founder and part of the all-star lineup of faculty of the NBB, Notary Business Builders. And Laura works with the NNA as a certified instructor and has worked with them since 2006. She provides some of the best content and education for notaries across the country. And believe me when I tell you that having her in your orbit will only make you a better notary, a better human being, and a better business owner. Laura, I'm so thrilled and honored that you had time to sit down with me today. And I'm excited about doing this.
So appreciate it. And I'm excited about doing this too. I don't do very many interviews, so this is going to be fun.
I think you should. I think it's a missed moment for you, because you have a lot to share with everybody, and you do share it. So I just want to start at the beginning of your journey to become a notary. Can you tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Sure. So my first foray into being a business owner was owning a facility for elderly. And it was a little 6-bed. And not long into it, I realized my clients needed documents notarized. Mm-hmm. And when I tried to find a mobile notary to come to them, because it was very difficult to get them out,
right,
I got a lot of excuses about why that wasn't a good idea and they couldn't go there. And so it was a real pain. And I thought, all right, well, then I'll fix that. I'll just become a notary and then I can do it. I didn't really know a lot about what that meant. But what I found out after I became a notary was that I couldn't notarize for my own clients because I owned the facility.
Oh, okay.
I was able to notarize for them. But a friend of mine who put herself through law school doing loan signing work was getting ready to take the bar exam here in California. And she said, you know what, Laura, I'll take care of your customers. Would you go to hospitals and other places and notarize for them? Oh, and by the way, I know you don't always have a 6th bed filled, and that means you're upside down in your business.
Right.
You might want to think about doing what I'm doing. That's how I put myself through law school. So I was a witness at one of her signings so I could see what it was about.
Right.
Loved it and said, okay, this is great, complementary to the business that I have. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got started. I was giving away the notarizations at hospitals and other facilities, and the way I was starting to make money was as a loan signing agent.
When did that happen? When did you branch into loan signings?
So right away.
Right away.
Yeah, first 2-3 months of having that commission, she turned me on to, look, I think you're going to want to do this because you may not be able to cover all your expenses all the time, or even just make money for you. I always covered expenses, but I did not have any profit for me.
Gotcha.
And so So I basically said, okay, all the money I take in for the facility goes to the improvements of the facility, taking care, doing upgrades, being able to give extra care, and make my business a standout amongst all these other little businesses in town. And then I'll rely on the loan signing stuff to be my paycheck.
Gotcha.
So that's how I did it.
Gotcha. Okay. So how long into all of that did you get connected with the NNA?
So, let's see, I got my commission in 2004,
Okay.
and then I started teaching for the NNA in 2006. So it was 2 years, and it was just like 3 or 4 months, before it was their conference in June of 2005 that I went to their Las Vegas conference, and they had 2,000 notaries there. It was amazing.
Wow.
And all of a sudden I found out, oh, there's a lot more I could do with this commission. I could actually charge fees for going to hospitals and doing that kind of work. And so that's what opened my eyes that this could be a full-time business, not just something I do on the side to, shore up what I don't make in the business I really had.
Right.
And
So
I decided right there, I'm selling that business, and this is going to be my business.
You decided at the NNA conference that you were moving full force into being a notary and loan signing agent.
Yeah, and I knew it might take time because I would have to sell the business, and I'd only been in the business for a couple of years by that time, because that started in 2001, right? So it's 2004.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I had been in that business for a while, and I realized I really wasn't going to be able to do that till I retired. I had to lift people, and it was just very difficult physically for me. But I thought I'll do it for as long as I can. Well, then when I saw my exit strategy, it became the notary business. Then I just started kind of talking to the universe and saying, when the right opportunity comes my way, I would love to sell this business to somebody else who loves the idea of taking care of people and being helpful to seniors. And it was probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months later that I was approached by somebody who said, I was told to call you because I want to start my own 6-bed facility. And I have questions because I've not done this before. I've done care at a facility, but I've not done it myself.
Right.
And I had about an hour and a half conversation and said, well, if you're going to start your own, here are the things I had to consider for licensing and all of that. And here's how I started to market. And by the time we were done at the end, I said, now that's if you do everything yourself. That's what you want to do. But I'm going to tell you, it might be a little easier if you buy one that exists. And she goes, yeah, this is a lot more than I thought. It would be easier to just take over somebody's. Everything's done.
Yeah.
And I said, just go in the phone book and start looking, because, back then we were still using the phone book. Start looking up facilities and just call the owners and see if they're interested in selling. And she goes, oh, what a great idea. So then I didn't even say anything about my place. And she said, well, can I just start with you? You just spent an hour and a half with me telling me how to run the business. Would you even consider letting go of your business? Because I hadn't been in it all that long. And I said, let me think about that, and let's meet in person, because I didn't want to just sell my business to anybody. I've gotten to love these people that were in my facility. I wanted to make sure they were being taken care of. And so she came with her husband. We met for coffee, spent another couple hours. By the time we were done, I said yes. And that's how I ended up selling my business and the property, which was at the top of the market at that time.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a good deal all the way around. And then I offered a year's support to them for marketing and how to keep the beds full and, what to do.
Yeah. Wow, Laura. So at the NNA conference, you decided, wow, I can make money as a notary doing general notary work, not just loan signings. And I'm going to do this full time. That's pretty remarkable. It's remarkable where we get our inspiration and our awareness to what's going on around us that we might not have known for whatever reason. Exactly. Okay, so that's where you discovered how to move on. So 2 years into your notary journey, you started working with the NNA?
I did. I was an independent contractor. They hired me. I had to take an exam, and they hired me as a certified instructor. And I took care of the areas just like Modesto to Fresno to Sacramento, just in those areas. And I invoiced them every month for however many, 2 or 3 seminars a month. It really wasn't very much, but it helped. It definitely helped. And thank goodness, they say God sends the cure before you get the sickness. Well, remember, this is 2006, and then we have a story about 2008. So I'm teaching for them independently 2 or 3 times a month, and then, doing loan signings, really. And it was great. I was crushing it. Jobs were falling from the sky. It was easy, loved it, and making good money, making more than I ever did in my other business, and so much easier.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing a lot of specialty work. I didn't even call it that at that time.
Yeah.
I was still giving away that work. And I was making my money with the loan signing work.
When, well, so you were teaching the 6-hour course?
Yes, the 6-hour mandated training.
Wow. When did you start? Well, I guess what I want to ask before I ask this question is, when did you start realizing there was specialty work to be done in the notary world?
In 2008, when the bottom fell out, and I went from full-time loan signings to 0.
Right.
In January of 2008, I realized there's a problem here. And I don't know how long I can last and wait it out, because I did not understand the cycles of the loan market at the time, real estate. I didn't know it.
Right.
So I didn't know, one, that was going to happen, and 2, I didn't know that real estate comes back. Right. So I didn't understand that. And so I said, okay, let me go through my journals and see how else I could make money. And that's when I noticed patterns of who was calling on me. And I thought, I don't have to give it away for free. I could charge a little something and see if people will pay me to come in there extra. And that's how I just started experimenting. And then I went into the phone book and I looked at all the businesses and said, they might, tattoo parlor, they need notarization for minors. Oh, yeah, the liquor store, they have an ABC contract they have to fill out and it has to be notarized. Oh, and I just started looking at the obvious ones as well. And I started targeting instead of, I accidentally got called for one of these appointments, because that's
you
what
were being intentional.
Yeah. And general work, to me, when people said, I do general work, that tells me it's not intentional. That tells me it's like whatever falls in my net, I'll do it. And I decided, okay, this cannot be what falls in my net. I need to be intentional about it. I need to target these business, and I need to start building relationships in these areas so that I become a go-to notary for them.
So when did you coin your term specialty?
Specialty notaries, I coined maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe around 2015, 16, maybe around there, when I was really developing strong, repeatable business. So it took a long time for me to understand how to market to people who have not been marketed before for notary work. And the first one that I really was strong with was trust work. When that happened, that just changed everything. That's when I saw, there's repeatable business. I just have to know what it is. And the trust line of business was my first real specialty work. Because here's where I had to drive down to Los Angeles, where they were located. They did a full day of training with me on how each document worked and why it was there and how to present it. Then I had to take a little exam with them, and then they kind of certified me to present these documents. And then they would start shipping me the binders, and I would go and on my own present full trusts along with any other documents that were in there for the company.
Wow. An attorney's office trained you?
No, it was a legal plan company.
A legal plan company.
That has a lot of attorneys that are on retainer, basically.
Oh.
Right. And so they wanted no matter who the attorney was, the paperwork was pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And they wanted the delivery to be the same.
Gotcha.
And they loved that I was teaching. I had been teaching by this time, at least 5 years, the mandated training. So they felt really confident in my notary skill. They just wanted to make sure I could handle the delivery part. And then once I got that going, I thought, well, they can't be the only legal company.
Right.
There's probably other attorneys that might need a notary. So I started, I added it to my website. I started talking about it. I started visiting notaries, even that I knew. They were just personal friends. And even though they were family law, they were different. I said, hey, I do trust work, probate work. If you could let your attorney friends know, because it's a small world for them, just like this. And that's how I started getting that work, was building those relationships with people that I already knew.
Right. Right. Awesome. So, okay. So where from you're developing and realizing that this is some of these things are what we would call specialty. And I think the word specialty is really important with this, because instead of calling, I like your explanation between general and specialty, because specialty means I have invested, educated myself, and am intentionally preparing myself to take on this type of work, which would make me a specialist in this kind of work. So it makes a lot of sense. And I think if people need to understand a little bit, the reason why we're giving it that name isn't because the act itself is special. It's that you have intentionally developed yourself to be special at it. So
exactly. And sometimes it is the documents very unique, but sometimes it's your environment that's very unique.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes the person has special needs that are very unique. So there's a lot of reasons why it becomes special, and you need to know more than how to notarize the document.
Yeah, I agree. So when in all of that did you decide, I'm going to start teaching notaries how to do this outside of the NNA?
So I was doing it on my own. It wasn't called Coach Me Laura. I did it under At Your Service Mobile Notary, which is my notary business. And as I met people who, when I was teaching the class, that's how I would come in contact with notaries saying, I want to do this as a mobile notary, because I would mention in my introduction, I'm a mobile notary besides doing this. And they would come up to me and say, can you help me? And I'd make an appointment with them and then talk about what they wanted to do. And I'd start coaching them about, well, here's how I did it. Here's something you might not have thought of. And it was pretty informal coaching about how to open up the business world for them. That's how it started. Very easy peasy. I didn't even have documents. I just had a conversation with them.
Right.
Then I was getting more and more asks for that. And I realized I'm not doing my work. So I really am going to have to charge something, because all my time is being eaten up in coaching. Maybe this is another line of business for me.
Right.
So I've been doing it 3 or 4 years before I decided to formalize it and say, okay, let me write formal programs and slideshows and really go more in depth for each specialty.
Right.
So that's how I started doing that. And then, of course, I hooked up with Bill Roca, and then the rest is history. And meeting him through Carol Ray was a life-changing event.
That's what he said about this. On the other side, he said the same thing. He said, can you just imagine that Carol, who Bill said, I wasn't anybody. Carol calls me, and then Carol calls Laura, and we've got introductions, and look where we are now. He said the same exact thing. It's very cool. It's a very cool journey that you guys went on.
It is.
Okay, so then there is Coach Me Laura, and you've got training for new notaries, how to be a notary, how to do specialty notary, state-specific notary training. I want to talk about that, because you have made yourself a specialist for notaries in most, if not all, states of the country, right?
Yeah. So one of the opportunities I had with the NNA was I did hotline work for them. And when you have to do hotline work, it's not for your state, it's for all 50 states.
Gotcha.
So there were resources, websites, handbooks, everything I needed to answer questions for notaries in other states. And so I just started reading. And of course, every time I got a question and I didn't know the answer, the resource was there. And I would actually say, well, I'm going to look in your handbook first. And here's what it says. Oh, it doesn't say anything about that. Let me try another resource, see if there's a best practice around it. The things that are not said in the handbooks are a little easier, because best practice tends to cross the state lines.
Right.
But it was very specific. Can I use this ID? Well, I need to see your state requirements.
Right.
I did that for probably 3 years, 4 years
Mm-hmm.
before I decided, I've never liked the current process of mandated training, because the job of the training is to help you pass an exam,
Right.
not to make you a competent notary.
Right. You're
and
right.
There's a big difference. To me, you take the class, we don't really talk about notarizing documents, and when it's not California, what do you do? So to me, that's like, I take the written driver's test. I've never driven a car, and then I say, oh, you passed that, here's the keys, go ahead.
Yeah.
Drive.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what made me think, you know what, we need a class that talks about performance work. How do I identify? How do I fill out a journal? How do I fill out a certificate? What do I do when it's not an act in my state? That's where I want to focus. And some of the special things that may not get covered in mandated training, because it doesn't happen every day.
Right. And not every state has mandated training. So
that's right. Most of them, actually, I think there's less than 20
that
do. So more states don't than do. And so that's where real world came in. And I said, let me write one. I'll write my own state first. Because we've got extensive training, 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I thought, God, what am I not covering? And then I started putting it together based on that and what questions I got asked. Right? I'm thinking, you took a class, you don't know this? Okay, obviously we're not teaching it in a way for you to implement it or execute it.
Right.
And so then after I did California, I just started doing the big states first. And I think I've done 26 of them so far.
Now, those were live Zoom or live classes?
Every one started as a live Zoom class.
Gotcha.
Every single one.
Gotcha.
And then we recorded it, because there were people saying, well, I'm in Oregon and I missed it. How do I get to it now?
Yeah.
And that's when Bill and I came up with this idea. We should have a library of all the states, keep going, keep writing new ones, so that we'll always do it live first. But if you didn't get it, now you can get the recording.
Right. For your state.
For your state.
And so you said you have 26 in there right now?
26 states so far.
Are you
adding? I still have some to go.
The other thing you offer, okay, so those are state specific replays, right?
Yes.
The other thing you do, and the thing that is bringing this conversation here today, is your Laura Biewer Presents library that is available on your Coach Me Laura website. Can you explain what that is?
Absolutely. So Bill and I were answering a lot of questions on TNT, because TNT had started first. And a lot of them were hitting these different specialty ideas that I was talking about. And so Bill and I talked about this and said, what if we just took one at a time? And we did a Zoom video on it where we could go deep diving into that topic, because I couldn't do it in TNT.
Right.
And I thought, okay. And he said, we'll make it a skill builder. It'll be free to attend. Okay, let's do that. And so that's what we did. And we created it. We created probably 2 or 3 of them. And then we decided, I could probably do quite a few other ones. But it's, again, when I'm busy doing all of this, I'm not doing my other working. I really need to make a living. Right. What a great way for me to serve my colleagues and make a living at the same time. So we developed the library and said, okay, every time I have something new, and now I think I'm up to 11 videos that are in there, I put it in there.
Yeah.
And so if you want to know, you get all the videos at one shot. But if you want to just know about HOA elections, something really unique and different, it's in there.
Is it in the library?
It is in the library.
Okay. Very cool.
I did that one last year.
Yeah. I thought it was just going to be with Matt's thing. So I'm glad.
No, it's with Clint and with me.
Perfect. Awesome. That is what we are giving a discount to on the resource page, but there's so much more that you do. And the other thing you do, and something I think is really, really special, is you have a notary state specific masterclass for notaries. Now, this is not a Zoom course, right? Isn't this a one-on-one call time with you?
Yes. So some people are further ahead
Mhm,
and they really want me personally and live. And
mhm,
they want to be able to spend that hour and a half to 2 hours hitting some of the things that are bugging them. That
mhm.
they're like, but wait, when it happens this way, does that change the rule? And so I go even deeper. It's more of an investment when you have 2 hours of
Right,
my time live,
right.
but I do that. Otherwise, you can get the replay.
The replays, yeah.
Right.
And that's the real world notary training replays.
Mhm.
Um, we talked about your Laura Biewer Presents library. You was I would like to hear a little bit from your side about TNT. I know we're kind of going back and forth, but
Okay. You know,
TNT.
so Tuesday Notary Titans,
Mhm,
originally it started as the Breakfast Club.
right.
And it was Carol and Bill for about 2 months, 2 or 3
Mhm.
months. And then, of course, Bill and I met at my symposium, which is a whole funny story by itself because I didn't know who he was. I didn't know why Carol was pushing him on me.
He got
He
a
wanted
lunch
to
spot.
come. And I was like, all right, well, he can come, but there's room for him to sit somewhere. I'm sold out. And she said, well, can't you have him do something, maybe speak? Or I'm like, wait, Carol, all my speakers are in place, everything's set. And she said, I'm sure you could just find something for him. So I said, all right, he can have like 10 minutes at lunch when everybody's eating. That's what he got. And he came there to present. He had little note cards.
Yeah,
And he presented something that, you know what? People were listening. I had no idea. They loved him. Out of all the speakers, they loved the little 10, 15-minute presentation he gave
I
and said,
love it.
bring him back. Like, can we have him for a whole hour when we're not eating? I
Yeah.
said, okay. So then I knew, okay, we've got to work something out here. And that's really, Carol invited me to join them
Mhm,
on Breakfast Club. And we did that for a couple months, actually, maybe only a month. And we
mhm.
decided, Breakfast Club was a movie. Maybe that's not a good idea. Let's come up with another name. And I have to say, it was either Carol or Carol's daughter
Yeah,
that came up with the Titans, Tuesday Notary Titans, which
yeah.
abbreviated to TNT. And we switched it to that name. We switched it to noontime because it used to be in the morning.
Mhm.
And yeah, the rest is history.
It
Uh,
is.
3 of us, managed that call for actually a couple of years
Mhm.
before we lost Carol.
Yeah. It's a I'm so happy to talk about it again because it's such a great place for notaries to be, especially brand new notaries,
Yes.
because it's not a place that only has new notaries. TNT has notaries that are brand new or not even commissioned. I wasn't commissioned when I first went to TNT, and it has notaries that have been there for 25 years, not at TNT, but have been notaries for 25 years. It's a massive resource of information for notaries. And I send people there all the time because even as somebody who sits in the back and doesn't say a word, get your notebook out because you will be shocked at what you can learn in that 1 hour every Tuesday. It's amazing. And then if you're brave enough to ask a question, I did that a lot in my early days, and you'll get answers. I've never seen anybody not get an answer to their question that helps, for the most part, satisfy their question. So it's a fantastic forum. I hope you guys do it forever and ever. It's just wonderful.
We do love it. And it also has served as a launching pad to help other colleagues who are putting on their own events,
Mhm,
doing other projects. We've helped them in that way. And
mhm,
it's the way Bill and I and Carol, when she was alive, we could give back to
mhm.
our colleagues without a fee.
Yeah,
Right, to just give of ourselves to our community and build a notary community. And that's what I love the most, I think, about TNT is how powerful that part of it is
I
to
agree.
help our colleagues.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it so much. Um, I want to talk because you're also a co-founder and part of the faculty of NBB, Notary
Right.
Business Builders. We got a deep dive into NBB with Bill. So what I would love is to know what classes you teach for NBB and what your take is on the value of Notary Business Builders.
Beautiful. Well, I teach 2 specific classes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, one is specialty calls. And, it started out talking about the different specialties, but now we're really getting granular and going further into them and talking about mastery of those. And so the theme of mastery will be going on this next year as we talk about the different aspects, whether the mastery is on the skill of notarization, the mastery is around the marketing and relationship building, the mastery could be in other areas.
Right.
So that's what that call is about. And I do that one once a week, or once a month. The other one that I do is called Mindset, Successful Mindset. And I think this is an overlooked area because people don't see the numbers directly correlating.
Right.
Well, how is being positive and how is reframing how I'm thinking tie into how much money I'm making? But I'm going to guarantee you it is.
It does.
And it's talking about how we can reframe our mindset to work for us, and how our self-talk can be a positive thing instead of a negative one, and all of that. That is what the mindset call is, and that is also once a month. So those are the two that are part, and to get to them, you have to be an NBB
member. What is your take on the value, not the monetary value, but the value of NBB as a whole?
Wow. I don't even know.
That's a hard question. It's a hard question for me to answer.
But the value comes from a lot of different areas. One piece of the value comes from being part of that community, that notary community, because now you're with like-minded people who also have invested in themselves to master what they want to achieve.
Right.
So I think that's the first thing. Is TNT is great, but it's a lot of new notaries, a lot of mix. Right. This one, you pretty much know who your community is in there. The other part of and a lot of them have connected with each other. So I think that is fantastic. Another piece of the value is that you have people like Bill and myself and Jen Neitzel, really driving the material to make sure that it's timely and that it's helping people move forward in their business. We also have like Sandra Long, who is best-selling author with Bill on the LinkedIn strategy, but she already was a best-selling author before that. So we've got Jim Allen, to talk about Google My Business, your page, and how that works. That is like one of the single most important things you could do. So we've got that going on. Then we've got the technology part. And the technology part is what's really new and helping people to drive their business by utilizing that sharing technology and the new pipelines we're developing with videos. So the technology piece, I don't think anybody else has.
I don't either.
We're it. So you've got the technology, you've got the coursework, you've got the
community,
history and community and leadership, and we're bringing in people. We're bringing in attorneys. We're bringing other guests in to add value. So all of those things together really help somebody. When you're a sole proprietor, it doesn't mean you have to be alone.
That's right.
Come up with all the ideas.
Right.
You just need to be open to it. And if you are in that orbit, if you want to be great, be in the orbit of greatness.
Yeah.
Right. So
100%.
Great things will come to you when you're in that orbit.
Agreed. Okay. I'm excited about this. I've been excited about this. I've known this was coming for over a year now. I got to look at possible covers. You have a new book out. I would love to hear about this book, which got your title, Beyond Loan Signings, The Ultimate Guide to Monetizing Your Specialty Notary Work. Is that right?
Close.
Close.
So the Beyond Loan Signings, The Ultimate Guide to Monetizing Your Notary Commission through Specialty Work and much, much more.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to pre-read this, and I'm telling you, it's a killer book, but I would love to hear how you decided to put all of your knowledge into a book and who you did it with.
So first of all, my co-author is Bill Soroka, of course. Who else would that be? And that idea actually came before LBP.
Oh.
And before that, we just didn't get on it until a couple of years ago. And it did take us 2 years to put this book together. But we had it on that back burner, like, yeah, we got to do a book on this. And it just other exciting things came along. And so Bill finally said, you know what, do you want to write a book or not? If you want to do it, this is the year. I'm ready. He'd already put out his Sign and Thrive. And he had just published also the LinkedIn strategy.
LinkedIn strategy book, yeah.
And he said, I'm going to do another book. Are you ready? And I said, I'm ready. And that's
where it started. What is the book about? I mean, your title is pretty explanative. I mean, explains pretty much what it is, but tell me a little bit about what people are going to expect from reading this book.
So a lot of different things. Of course, one is we're expanding on the different specialties, and we talk about, what it is and what you can expect, and all the information that I already have talked about. All of that's in there, but some new information as well. So that's for the 7 specialties, or excuse me, 5 specialties that require commission. And then we talked about the specialties that don't require a commission, like fingerprinting and wedding officiant, right? So those ones, so we have like 12 different specialties in there. Each one we went into depth. The other thing we put in there that we haven't talked about before, which was the, managing your money, the allocation, and how you should be doing that, not just how to get it, pricing strategy. That's in there as well. And that wasn't in any of my other materials before. The other thing, and I just talked to someone who called me to tell me what she thought of the book.
Yeah.
And she said, Laura, I'm not even a mobile notary. I'm a business owner. She's a State Farm agency. Yeah. And she said, so much of what was in your book, it didn't matter if it was notary, it was business principles. Any kind of business that you're a sole proprietor. Yeah. This book is for you, because it doesn't have to be the service, or the product doesn't have to be notary. And so she said, there's so many things that I learned about. No idea that's, how big the notary world could be for somebody, and that you could have a full-time living doing that. And she said, there were several things I learned to apply to my own business. So I love that we really, I think, nailed it regarding business skill. And then you can apply that to whatever it is you want to do.
Right. I think that this should be required reading everywhere, but let's just say in California, we have a conversation with the NNA to make this the required part of your training to become a notary. We'll tack on Sign and Thrive to that. So now you're a notary and loan signing agent. We'll add our apostille books and all the other ones that come in there and do a package, because it's going to be foundational in people's lives that want to be notaries. Every question you have as a new notary is answered in this book. So,
Jen, what we also did, you might have noticed, is we left blank spaces for you to make it a workbook for yourself. And because it's 50 states, and I can't say one answer is right for all 50 states,
right?
I have an area in there for you to put, well, what does my state say? Can I charge a travel fee? Can I use signature by Mark Witness? What does my state say? So that once you fill it in, now
it becomes a resource book. Yeah, it's your resource. You're absolutely. And it's something that you've made yours too. So it's a part of your journey and your work. And it's going to be in people's bags. It's going to be in mine. I don't need new notary information, but I think that every concept you give about business too, you're right, applies to business. We are still in business. We may be notaries, but we are in business. We are sole proprietors. We are all those things. So I'm very excited about it. And I finally would like to talk to you about the Notary Symposium, which was my first and still, I think, only notary conference I've ever been to as of the time that we recorded this. And I'd love to hear, I'd like to know what it is.
Well, thanks for asking about that, because that is a labor of love. Let me tell you. Again, I was looking at the gap, and I said, look, there's one national conference, NNA puts it on. I attend it. I've attended 16 of them. Every single year I have gone since I've become a notary, since 2005. So I was only a notary about a year before I started. But that's the only option.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's not really other options to go to, because what if I can't afford to go to that conference?
Right.
So I decided, you know what if we had a regional conference, something just in California? That's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the California Notary Symposium.
Right.
And we'll just meet here in Modesto. And I paid for a room for like 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to God that 50 people would attend.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that, yes, I did get it. And what I heard back was, yeah, I want to attend something like this. I had been doing meetups, which was like 10 or 15 people.
Right.
And free. But I thought, if people had to pay to attend, would they?
Yeah.
Would it be worth it to them to attend? Because then I had to pay for the hotel room and I had to pay for a lot of different things. And
Right.
I got a couple of my friends to speak, right? That was the first one. And that was 8 years ago, almost 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Then we moved it up to Sacramento. It grew to 100 people. Now I got Carol, I got some different people, some bigger names to speak.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. And in my 4th year, and I said, well, I guess no symposium, but the idea, and I can't remember how the idea came to me, if somebody suggested it or I just came up with it. And that was when the Zoom thing started happening because of COVID.
Yeah.
I thought, why can't I do that that way? We're doing webinars. Why can't I do that? And I happened to stumble upon this guy hosting, what do you call it? Like, it's when you go out for a drink. What do you call that?
Happy hours. Happy hour. Yeah.
Happy
Robbie.
hours. Robbie Samuels. And he was hosting these happy hours on Zoom. I'm like, well, how do you do that? I mean, you're on Zoom, for God's sakes. So I thought, I'm going to go to one and see what this is. And I was so enthralled with it because he did this thing called breakout rooms, which now everybody knows what
everybody knows about. Yeah, but back then,
no, but it was a new feature. And I thought, oh my God, I could utilize this. People could get some of that networking in, even if they're on screen. And so that was that symposium. And
that was my
so good.
That was my symposium, my first symposium. Yeah, it was.
And we thought, well, let's do it again. And then I started getting very intentional about, by the time I hit my 3rd one, other people said, well, we could hold an event in our area when the doors open back up after COVID. I'll do that. And so they started doing their own thing. And I said, okay, you know, growing is not just about your notary skill. You have to grow yourself to grow your business. Yeah. And I started moving in that mindset area. And of course, in the last one, we had Elrod as our speaker, which was pretty amazing. We've had best-selling authors like Barbara Stanley Hewson, who was a speaker as well, that helped in the pricing area and understanding our worthiness, that we deserve the prices that we ask for. So that was the direction I started moving with that. This year I took a break.
Right. This year you're taking a break, and it's not a conference to teach you how to be a notary.
No,
that's not. There's lots of places for that, and you offer lots of resources for that. This is a place to grow in your notary business, in who you are. That's what it's for, and it's fantastic. I like that it's not 2,000 people, because I have a new Modesto best friend through your notary conference, right? Yeah. It lets people connect and not feel lost in a crowd. And so I love it. I think it's fantastic. And I'll be very excited about 2024. Whatever is to come.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. Okay, I want to talk real quick. I need to get my notes up here about I can't. Here we go. Okay. I want to remind people that I put together the Notary Resource Page, and that this resource page has the potential to save you between $800 and $1,000 in the best training, service platforms, and supplies in the business. All that information will be in the description below, and Laura has graciously provided a discount code for $20 off her Laura Biewer Presents library of training videos. That code is in the Notary Resource Page as well. Laura, I'm so grateful that you decided to hang out with me today and just talk about your journey and your notary journey and what you've done and what you've accomplished and the steps you've taken to get there and the way you've been willing to share with everybody who asks. I can't tell these people how many times I sent you a text. I jumped on stage on TNT to ask you a question, a phone call. We've had our 15 minutes a couple times to answer questions that I just couldn't get answers to. You have been so giving of your time. Like Bill, like others, you have become a leader, not just because you're excellent at what you do and you're excellent at your notary business specifically. You are an excellent leader because you keep giving to other people and to other notaries, and you bring them along with you. And it's one of the greatest things about you and about your role in this industry. And it's what has made you what we lovingly refer to you as the GOAT in our notary community. And I'm just really grateful to you for your role in my life and for the many notaries whose lives you've changed because of it. Thank you for that.
So much. And that's really important because when I started, there was no Bill Soroka or Carol. There was no me. There was nobody out there to guide me to help me get my business going.
Right.
And I just felt like, the people that are coming in behind me, how can I help them? So they didn't have to have some of the struggles that I had in the beginning. And one of the things I didn't mention yet, but I would like to, is that on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m., I have something called Laura's Inner Circle. And Laura's Inner Circle is free. And it's a smaller group. TNT might be a little bit too intimidating for you because, we have 100 to 200 notaries. This is like, 10, 12 people. And so if you're interested in coming in to ask a question or just to listen, just go to coachmelaura.com, sign up for Laura's Inner Circle. You'll get a link. Hold on to it because I don't change it. And then you can just sign in on a Saturday morning, 8 to 9 a.m. Pacific time. And it's whoever happens to join me that morning.
I'll leave that link in the description box, but you're right. It's a really nice kind of casual coming together of notaries. And we ask the one I've been to, great questions, great problem solving, great. There's nothing you touch, for the record, that I don't think is perfect for a million different people. So everybody sign up for Saturdays, get the resource page. You can get access to Laura's replay for a discount. Among other things, I'll also put a link to how you can purchase Laura's book in the description box below. Laura, thank you so much again for being here. I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy woman, so taking time to sit down with me means a lot to me, and I'm really grateful.
So appreciate and so enjoyed. Thank you.
Good.
It's me to hang out with you this morning. My pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. I hope you guys loved that interview as much as I love doing it. Laura is one of my most favorite people on the planet, and I hope you can see why. She's one of the most giving individuals in our industry, and if you didn't already know about her, I'm so glad to introduce you to her. Now, let's not miss this because her new book is in the description box. Beyond Loan Signings. I'm not going to remember the tag, but the book is in the description box. Grab it today, especially if you are a notary that's just starting or a notary that's never diversified. This is the book for you. Do not miss it. Also, if you want access to Laura Biewer Presents library of amazing content and amazing training, she's offering you $20 off. The discount code, however, is in the resource page. You guys know about this. It's down in the description box. It's now $15, but for you, that discount in there is worth it already. So don't miss that opportunity. Again, if you like this kind of stuff, you want more content like this, hit the like, hit the subscribe, ring the bell, be alerted when we come with new content for notary and notary business building stuff. That's it from me. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.